Chapter 24. We are extending our stay at the B&B because I want to sleep. But first, we stop at the shopping center and I tell Mzolisi to wait for me in the car. Shouldn't we sit somewhere in these restaurants and eat? We haven't eaten anything since breakfast, but nope, I don't want food. I barge into the first liquor store I see and grab the first 4 bottles of red wine I find. I don't care if it's Pinotage or Merlot or whatever. And no plastic lady with eyebrows on fleek. Mzolisi watches me with horror as I approach the car with 2 bottles under each arm. I throw 3 on the back seat and open one. None of them need a corkscrew to open. The cheaper, the better, and the quicker you get drunk. Are you going to... I'm already drinking from the bottle. What is he asking questions for? By the time we reach the B&B, I'm halfway through it. It tastes horrible, and that is exactly what I need. More bitterness in my life. We bump into 3 people at reception, and they all stare at us like we're some animals in a zoo. My bottles are back under my arms, and I'm gulping the open one like it's water. It's almost finished. We have to get the keys, he says. Oh, we checked out this morning, by the way, so we have to check in again. He can get the keys. He'll find me upstairs. I'm staggering up the stairs when I bump into a couple going down. Old man and young woman. Are you okay, sissy? The man asks. Do I look okay? Is your wife okay, bub? Is she okay with you creeping around at a B&B with a teenage slay queen? They look shocked. I feel someone grabbing me around my waist. It's Mzolisi. I'm sorry, she didn't mean it like that, he says, helping me up the stairs. The couple keeps walking. I meant it like that, exactly like that, you fucking pedophile, I shout from the top of the stairs. I know they heard me. Mzolisi unlocks the door quickly and pushes me inside the room. My mind is telling me to go to the balcony and jump. This place is just a double story, so even if I do, I won't die. It will be like jumping from a tree. Charlie, you've drunk enough. Excuse me? Are you my father now? Are you my mother? No, you're not. Nobody is. I'm just a thing that someone grabbed and raped and then passed on to another to lie to and allowed to be tortured and cut with razors and banged on walls and be strangled and have cups and everything within reach thrown at. He tries to grab me and hold me, but I raise the bottle and aim. I'll smash it over his head if he tries to touch me again. Charlie, please calm down. Stop calling me Charlie or Charlotte or whatever. That's not my name. I don't have a name. Nobody looked for me. At least Gertrude's mother thought she was dead. Gum was on the news, but me? Nobody looked for me. I'm nobody. I'm nothing. I've never been anything to anybody. That's not true. He's pissing me off. What is true? Nothing about me all my life has been true. Nothing. Your name is Mzolisi Mkengcele. What is mine? What is my name? Where do I come from? Who gave birth to me? When? I don't even know my real age. I hate them. All of them. I don't want to find them. I hope they're all dead. We'll find your family. I promise. No, we will not bother with that. I don't want to find them. I opened the second bottle and he better not try to stop me. She was my sister, Mzolisi, the only person I knew for the first years of my life. She loved me. She protected me. She lied to me about what that man was doing to her. She did that to protect me, to protect my innocence. She fought when he came to get me. She bled. He battered her every time. I hated her for torturing me. I couldn't even cry when she died. I was happy, in fact. Why? Why didn't I remember anything from the time she loved and protected me? Things would have been different if I did. I would have understood her better. And why, Mzolisi? Why am I the one still alive? Tears. I can't stop them. I didn't want to shed any today, but these are tears of anger. I wanted to drink until I couldn't stand on my own feet, and then pass out for hours or days, not be here in a fit of rage. Come here, he says. I don't aim the bottle at him this time. I let him hold me. I think I'm tired, and that I need him. Kamu loves you. She trusts you. You promised her you would come back for her, and you did. Gertrude loved you, the only way she knew how to. You are taking her home now. That's what she would have wanted. She's happy and she's proud of you. You need to fight now, like she fought for you. You need to make sure everything she suffered to protect you was worth it. You have to live and find happiness. You have to let go of everything that happened in that room. That will make Sissy and Kamo happy. He whispers all this in my ear while holding me tight. I hope he's right. I can't bring them back to life, but I have to do right by them, and that is exactly what I'm going to do. My arms feel wobbly and my knees are shaky. Get some sleep now, he says. Phew, the headache I have. Also, why is it still dark outside? It's supposed to be morning already. Did I sleep for 2 days? I drag myself out of bed. My body is fully functioning, but my head feels like there are pins and needles poking at it. Zolisi is sitting on a chair, watching TV. The sound of it is making my headache worse. I need to pee. He looks at me briefly as I make my way to the bathroom, the only place with a door in this room. The pee is long, and when I stand up after I finish, I catch myself in the mirror. I look horrible, eyes red, and lips looking like I had put on black lipstick, but now it's dry. I'm not gonna lie and say it bothers me. My life is currently ugly, so my face is matching the energy. I'm on that never again tip when it comes to alcohol because of the headache I'm dealing with right now. But we all know that's not how it works. He's still sitting on the chair watching TV when I reappear. There are chicken lick and hot wings in the microwave, he says. Thank you, Lord. I need the ridiculously chilly wings and water to cure this hangover. I like them cold. Why is it still dark outside? Did I sleep through the day? I'm ravaging these wings like I haven't eaten in a week. It's 10 p.m. You slept for 5 hours. Oh, things are coming back to me now. I went crazy on him before I passed out. The bottles of wine are there on the kitchen cupboard top. 2 are still full. 1 is half empty and another is totally empty. It's the 4 Cousins one. I drank a whole bottle of 4 Cousins. That's a suicide attempt. The half-empty one is trusty off. I mixed 4 Cousins and trusty off. How am I still alive? The wings are helping, but I'm still going to need a painkiller. Please throw those sealed bottles of wine away. I'm never touching alcohol ever again in my life. I expect him to laugh, but he doesn't. I'm serious, Mzolisi. He stares at me for about 3 minutes before he speaks. I'll throw them away because I don't think alcohol is good for you. But I've never seen you being as honest about how you feel as you were this afternoon. You've been suppressing things since I found you in that room. You spoke about them this afternoon, and you spoke about you. Not Gertrude or Kamo, but you. You've made this whole thing about them this whole time, never about you. I just woke up. I'm hungover and in pain. I need him to go easy on me. I remember everything about my drunken mental breakdown 5 hours ago, and I know some of the things I said were unfair to him. But can I heal first? I'm sorry. You have nothing to be sorry about, Charlie. What would be the point of me helping you through this if I have no access to your real feelings? Also, when did you start drinking? You were always against it. When he and I got back together, I hid the fact that I drank a whole bottle of wine a night from him. We weren't university kids anymore, but I still wanted him to see me as the innocent small-town girl who wore pumps and unstylish clothes. After a boy, I say, throwing the chicken licken box in the bin. I've eaten all 12 of them. He mutes whatever he's watching on TV and turns to me. A boy. I'm about to embarrass myself here, but who cares? Yep, a boy, a man. Is there a difference? I met him a year after I started working, and he showed me flames. No, actually, a volcano. I don't like that smirk on his face. There is not a single thing he did not put me through. I see his face switching. No, he didn't beat me up or anything like that. He relaxes a bit. But he did cheat, multiple times, and every time I caught him, he made me feel like I was imagining things. Sometimes he would ignore me for days and then accuse me of being insensitive for complaining about that because he had told me he was going through stuff. I was certainly and absolutely sure he had told me nothing about him going through stuff. He never introduced me to his friends, but he was always at my place, eating my food and bringing his dirty clothes for me to wash. Telling the story is embarrassing as fuck. And you tolerated all of that. You. For 2 whole years. He's judging me. I can see it in his eyes. Eventually he blocked me everywhere, so I started stalking him. He laughs. Oh, he's laughing at me. Okay. It took me a whole 6 months to get out of that rabbit hole. I once showed up at his workplace with a basket full of lunch, and the girl at reception said he didn't work there anymore. He still works there, even today. So you're still stalking him? Ugh, no. I saw some article about his employer some months ago. He was in the photograph. I didn't even read the article. Just seeing his face disgusted me enough to turn to the next page. Am I anything like that guy? He's serious now, and it's making me uncomfortable. No, Mzolisi, you're not. So why can't you love me the way that I love you? Why is he doing this? Now? I'm scared. Scared of what, Charlie? I don't want to say it, because I'm not sure if it's really what I think it is, or if the real truth is that he is simply not the man for me. Of a good man, because I think even though I was able to forget, I never left that room. My idea of a man will always be of a bad human being. You are different. I don't know if my words have hurt him or not, but they are true. I'm just a man, Charlie. I've been with many women, and all of them have different stories about me. Some might be somewhere describing me as a bad man. I'm the way I am with you because I love you. How? How could anyone love me? You could have any woman you want, Mzolisi. I want you. I've wanted you and only you since that day I walked you to your res building. I have so much baggage. I'm here to help you get it off your shoulders, aren't I? He is, and he has worked very hard to get us here. Since we started this journey, I've been feeling like I don't have to fight any battles, like I can just stand behind him and let him handle things. Like I'm the soft, delicate thing inside of a hard shell, and to get to that soft part, whoever comes at me will have to break the shell first, but the shell is hard and unbreakable. I've watched him lead and decide for me, and it has been great and warm and comforting. I spent half my life feeling like I was in danger, and he makes me feel safe. I should voice all of this out to him, but apparently it takes cheap alcohol for me to be completely honest and show vulnerability. Where do you want us to go next? He asks. I'm quiet because he shouldn't be putting his life on hold like this. Not for me. I want to take Gertrude home first. I'll go back to Kamo when I'm done with that. Great. We're going to have to dig up her grave then, he says. Chapter 25. Staying throughout the service was not in my plans, but Mzolisi insisted on it. I saw some of those women who were at the funeral looking at me. 2 of them even put their heads together, and I know they were gossiping about me. As soon as the priest closed the service, I rushed off to the restrooms because I knew they were going to bother me with questions as soon as they got near me. I know they're already judging me for abandoning Seipati's house, as if I was supposed to give up my life and move back here. I only leave the toilet when the last group was walking out the church gate. Inside the church, we find the priest is removing the mobile pulpit from the stage. That was a great service, Mzolisi says. He turns around, looks at Mzolisi and then at me before pulling the table and folding it. Charlotte, nice to see you back home. And it's great of you to bring new members, he says without turning to look at us. I'm standing behind Mzolisi because I'm in my soft girl era. He can do whatever manly shit he's here to do. I have his back. Thank you, young man. I've never seen you here before. Have you just moved to Cullinan? He's facing us now. Mzolisi tells him they have to step outside. He looks confused and says he has to take the communion things to the back first and lock up the church. You can do that later. Come, let's go. He looks at me. I raise my eyebrows at him. He heard the man. I said, let's go, Ndota. He's getting aggressive and I will not stop him. I'm glad Seipati never took me to church because now I'd be feeling really bad. I'd be certain that I'll end up in hell. When we step out the door, Pumi, her brother, and a bunch of raggedy men are waiting outside. Every town has its amapara, or crackheads, as some people call them. They'll do anything for money, even digging up a grave. The graveyard is behind the church, completely hidden from the public road, so nobody can see what's going on there. Yes, we're going to dig up that grave, and this man of God will be punished for his sins here on earth, starting now. Mzolisi resorts to pulling him by his robe when he resists, all the way there. And our dear crackheads are following with shovels. I'm the only one that walks straight to Gertrude's grave and points it out. A tombstone was never erected, but I know exactly where it is. Next to Seipati's grave, which is still fresh and has a wooden cross written Matapelo Dorothy Zenge. I hope she isn't resting, that her soul is wandering in limbo trying to find peace it will never find. I've never visited Gertrude's grave, but if Seipati wasn't buried next to it, I would still have found it, easily. It was right next to Mr. Mahlati's big tombstone. He was bitten by a snake and died immediately. But people in this community have a different story, and it involves his wife and poison. Anyway. Here, this is yours, Mzolisi says, handing the priest a shovel. You buried her. Now dig her up. The priest looks at me. I look right back at him until he drops his eyes. The woman whose body you stood over and read the Bible to, the one you already knew the circumstances of her death, and yet you stood over her grave and spoke about Jesus and whatever else. This is her mother, and this is her uncle. They want her bones. Now dig them up. I'm glad we came here with these 7 young men, because they don't care what all this is about. They're here for the job, so they can get paid and get high. Mfundisi, priest, dig or go to jail. It's up to you, Mzolisi persists. He has this priest by his balls, and I'm not afraid to say, I'm impressed. My man said dig, so dig, Bible basher. Well, he's not exactly my man now, but I want him to be when all this is over. You know what happened, but you didn't go to the police. You told me that yourself, remember? Now dig. I know one needs the municipality's permission and police and whatever to dig up a grave, but nobody has time for that here. We'll explain later if we have to. Besides, it's not like a police car will drive past a graveyard on a Sunday afternoon in Cullinan and catch us digging up a grave. He's digging, in his full priest uniform, and I love to see it because he knew. Seipati confessed everything to him, but he chose to be loyal to his vows or ethics or whatever, instead of being human enough to do the right thing. Pumi and her brother are just standing there, watching, Pumi weeping silently. Her brother has a tree branch that he came all the way from Piet Retief with. The men are fast diggers. The priest's white robe is already covered in soil, and I find joy in watching him suffer. It takes hours to dig 6 feet under until the first shovel hits something. It's been 13 years, so it can't be wood, because Gertrude's coffin wasn't an expensive casket. The wood is obviously all gone, eaten by termites and other insects. Stop, one man says. We have to use our hands now. They are all down inside the grave, and they have reached the bones. Why are you standing? Join them, Mzolisi says to the priest. His robe is brown now. They remove the soil with their hands until the whole skeleton is exposed. Most of the bones aren't connected anymore, but they're all still there. Pumi's brother bought a sack, but Mzolisi tells the men not to touch them so they get out of the grave, and he makes the priest pack them inside the sack by himself. He packs them to the last bone, and I love to see it because I'm angry at him and at everything. He hands Pumi the sack. Pumi's brother jumps inside the grave without the branch. He's speaking, but I can't hear what he's saying. When he's done, the men shovel the soil back into the grave faster than they took to dig it out. We're done here. We give the men their money and they leave. The priest looks like hell, but we don't care about him. I believe his vows will prevent him from telling anyone about this, including the police. Pumi said that she doesn't want anything, that she doesn't want to know who did what and who should be punished. She just wants her daughter's remains. That's it. I have a feeling she never wants to see me too after this. Our next stop is my Seipati's house. Pumi's brother asks me in which room Mhlengi died. I show him Gertrude's bedroom. He goes in there with the branch and closes the door. He takes a while. So this is where Mhlengi lived? Pumi asks. I tell her yes, but I don't tell her how she was. She knew this wasn't her home. She knew Seipati wasn't her grandmother. She wanted to go to her real home, but she didn't remember where it was or who she was. Did she suffer? Was her death painful? I would have heard it if it was. No, she went to sleep and she never woke up. She nods. I'm sure Seipati put a pillow over her head and pressed hard. Do you have anything of her? Something she loves? Nothing. She loved nothing except me, the sun, and the moon. I have a drawing, but it's in my car in Joburg. I'll bring it to you. She nods. They'll bury her in 2 days, in their backyard where all their family members are buried. They say only the family will be there, so it'll just be the 2 of them. You can come visit whenever you're ready, she says. I don't know what to say. Mzolisi drives them back to Piet Retief alone. I tell him I want to sleep. The drive is 4 hours per trip. That's 8 hours on the road. He'll be back in the morning. I don't sleep. I lie on my back on the floor in the passage, staring up at the ceiling for hours. And then I go find a box of matches and set alight every curtain in every room before I walk out of the house. I'm standing on the street. The house is burning, but in my head, I'm burning Seipati. The neighbors come with hose pipes and buckets of water. They ask me questions. I tell them nothing. The fire truck arrives an hour later. There is nothing to salvage. It's all gone except for the bricks. I wish they could burn too. I will never come back here, ever again. Ma'am, please come with me. It's one of the paramedics. They arrived 10 minutes before the fire truck. The police aren't here yet. For what? We've been told this is your house. We have to examine you for smoke inhalation. Smoke inhalation? Really? I'm sitting here under a street light with scores of other people filling the street. I haven't even coughed once since they got here. I'm fine. I was not inside the house. So what caused the fire? It's not his job to ask me that. I said I'm fine. He retreats, but they don't leave. It's probably because they think I'm still in shock or traumatized or... Who cares? The lie that was my childhood is ashes and ruins now. The prison that Seipati kept us in is destroyed and I destroyed it. For me and Mhlengi. The police have finally made it, and they don't look very concerned. They clearly have been informed that nobody died in this house fire, which means less to no work for them. It's almost 4:30 a.m. That means Mzolisi will be back soon. I don't think I'll have to confess anything to him. He'll know immediately. I'm just worried he's going to blame himself for leaving me alone in this house. Of course, when he left, he didn't think I'd go as far as burning the house down. He knew I'd do some crazy shit for sure, like maybe smash things on the walls or cut doors with an axe. Ma'am, it's a police officer in uniform, a female one. I sigh before I look up at her. Wait. Charlotte. It's her. It's Muraro. She was one of my best friends in high school. Muraro. I stand up and hug her very tightly. I last communicated with her on Facebook years ago. I was still in varsity and she was already a cop. She had always wanted to be a cop. All of us spoke about being doctors and lawyers and other popular careers, but she'd always said she wanted to be a police officer from our first year of high school. She never changed her mind, not even when she passed matric with distinctions and was offered multiple bursaries by multiple big companies to study engineering and town planning and a lot of other things. She wanted to be a cop and she applied only to the police academy. Was this your home? I'm so sorry. I want to hug her again, tight, and weep on her shoulder until I have no tears left. But I don't. Yes, it was. I can't believe she stayed in this town. I'll have to take some statements from eyewitnesses. I'll come back to you, ne? Just sit here and try to relax. I'll tell my colleagues I'm the one that's going to talk to you. My 4 friends never knew where I lived. We were as tight as could be throughout high school, but they all lived in town in the suburbs. I was the only one from the township. They had slumber parties, but I never attended any of them. I explained to them every time that my grandmother would never allow me to not sleep at home. I even lied and said we had Bible study at church every Friday evening. Saturday was family day and Sunday was church day. I could say anything to them and they would believe me because my mother died when I was a baby and my grandmother was working in some school kitchen. They weren't like rich or anything like that. They just had proper families with a mother and a father, while most of them who aspired to match the standards the white kids in our school lived by. Not that the white kids' families weren't broken or toxic, but, you know. They were dropped off and picked up from school while I took a bus every day. That didn't make me feel poor. I knew I wasn't. My school fees were paid in full at the beginning of the year, and I never lacked anything when it came to school stationery. My lunchbox was topped up with 100% fruit juice, a pack of chips, and a fruit every day. Sepati made sure, probably because she was trying to make up for being a lying old bitch. Anyway, we all had our problems, you know. It's just that we saw them through kids' eyes. Our other friend, Matapelo, had to come to school with a bag of clothes every Friday because her parents had divorced and she had to spend weekends with her father and stepmother, and weekdays with her mother and stepfather. None of the step-parents were nice to her. That's what she told us. But there was a court order dictating her life. Her 2 biological parents didn't even speak to each other. They communicated through lawyers. But still, we were kids. We still had happiness because kids live in the moment. The childhood trauma started catching up with us when we were older. Nkateko's dad was in jail, but she and her mother were living a comfortable life because, well, this one time when we were in grade 11, Carly came to school with a weed joint and the 5 of us smoked it behind the toilets. We got high and Nkateko started telling us about how her father was a criminal who did cash heists and that he did a lot of them, but they only caught him on the last one and put him in jail. Her mother knew everything, and her duty was to launder the heist money and make it look like it was profits from the multiple businesses that included catering and beauty salons and a butchery, a car wash, and selling weaves from Dubai. Now that I'm older, I understand, because revenue services is not going to stand at the entry of a beauty salon or a car wash to count how many customers walk in and how much money you make in a week. You could say 500, and they'd have no reasons to question that. Carly found that interesting. She was the only white girl in our friend group, and I never understood why she was our friend, instead of the majority of white students at the school until grade 9, when her grandfather died and a whole president of the country delivered a keynote speech at the funeral to black people filling a whole stadium, singing anti-apartheid songs. His coffin was wrapped in a SACP, South African Communist Party, flag. It was strange to my young girl mind. We were all born in 1996. We are what they call born frees. 3 weeks later, we got high again behind the toilets, and Carly said after she finishes high school, she and her parents were going to relocate to some country in Europe to start over, because they had no family here. Her grandfather had only one child, her father, and that every extended family member had disowned her grandfather when he decided to side with the black people during apartheid. It was such a weird story to listen to. Anyway, our fourth friend, Ubobo, told us she had 3 siblings, and they all had different fathers, that her father was the only one that was financially supporting his child, and his child only. He paid the school fees directly to the school, so she was the only one going to a multiracial school, and that didn't sit well with her siblings, not even her mother. They all shared their troubles, and it was my turn now. I don't remember anything about my mother, and I don't know who my father is. All I have is my grandmother. Now my sister is gone too. That's all I said. We went back to class for the last 2 periods high as kites, but the teachers didn't even notice. That was the last time I smoked weed. I didn't touch it even at varsity, even though it was easily available. Alcohol too. I just didn't like the taste of it at the time. Muraro became a cop like she always wanted. Collie really did leave the country and is thriving using her grandfather's name and legacy. Her current title is activist. Bobo is a PhD candidate now. Nkateko is married and has multiple kids with a rich but very sketchy man. We all kind of lost contact, but somehow kept tabs on each other's progress in life. Collie once sent me a message on Facebook asking if I wanted to partner with her in an international global warming activism campaign. I told her I couldn't because I was working on a very important issue about dolomite and how it could sink the whole of Gauteng to the ground in the next 50 years. She replied with an eye-roll emoji and said environmental problems are far bigger than just Gauteng. I was kind of offended, but I understood her disconnection from the country we both grew up in. She left when she was 18 years old. That was the last time we spoke. Charlotte. Muraro is back. The firefighters aren't sure about the cause of the fire yet, but there has to be an investigation. The good thing, though, is that there are no casualties, so it won't be anything hectic. I hear her, but I honestly don't care. There was no house. It was a prison. I burnt it down, and I don't even care. I still have to take a statement from you, though. Where are you going to stay now? You can come stay at my house. I have 2 children, and my husband won't mind. That would be nice, but I declined the offer. First of all, I can't be staying at her house if she's going to be taking statements from me and investigating shit. I'm good. I'll find a guest house, but I'll come to the police station during the day. I've just lost my home. It's 5:30 a.m. and the sun is already out. I'm so sorry, Charlotte. Nobody should lose their home like this. Do you have insurance for it? I don't give a hoot about no damn insurance. They can turn it into a children's playground if they want to. Even if someone came and built a brothel here, I wouldn't care. The neighbors have gone back to their houses, the paramedics are long gone, and the firefighters have driven off. I see Mzolisi's car approaching, but I sit still, on the pavement. He rushes to me and puts his arms on my shoulders. Are you okay? What happened? I say nothing. The only person I see standing a short distance from us is the priest, staring at us. Mzolisi looks on his left and sees him too. His eyes stay on us a few seconds longer before he turns and walks away. What happened here, Charlie? He still has his hands on my shoulders. I burn Seipati. I sat here and watched the fire burn her to death. Everyone arrived too late. The neighbors, the firefighters, the police. None of them could save her. I'm happy. He looks into my eyes and says nothing, his hands still on my shoulders. Chapter 26. The house was not insured, so there's that. How Seipati could consistently pay rates for that house in Tadir for over 2 decades and not have insurance for the house she actually lived in is crazy to me. Anyway, I don't care about the insurance thing, to be honest. Yes, I would have made money selling it, but burning it down was more satisfying. I went to the police station and made the stupid statement. Muraro was more interested in us catching up than she was on the details of my home burning down. I told her the house has been mostly vacant since my grandmother died. She nodded and said sometimes when electrical appliances are not used for a long time, they can start a fire if they're switched on. I agreed with her. I didn't see what she was writing down, but it must have been that the fire was started by a faulty appliance. I doubt she will share the statement with the fire department, and besides, there won't be an insurance claim, so nobody's going to be asking questions or trying to find facts about what happened. That was 2 days ago. Yesterday, Mzolisi asked me if I didn't think it was time to involve the police, especially because I had one in my pocket now. I told him he had misunderstood things, that Muraro was not in my pocket. She takes the police thing too seriously. I told him she was the way she was because she doesn't know anything about my life. Also, I don't need a cop in my pocket. It's not like I've committed any crime. I decided to do this without them because I don't want it to turn into a media frenzy or someone asking to do a documentary or a book or any of those things. I want to give Mhlengi and Kamo the respect they deserve and find out everything about them before the whole world does. In just the 27 years she lived, The little girl, snatched from her father, had answered to 3 names: Mhlengi, Sissy, and Gertrude. Her family is burying her bones today, and maybe one day they will want to visit that dark room just to find closure. But first, I need to get Kamo out of there. You know me more than any person in this world. I'm being random, I know, but it's something I've been thinking about a lot lately. I feel like I'm just starting to know you, he says. I'm just starting to know me too. We left his townhouse for Sasselberg an hour ago. I feel like we're approaching the final stages of our journey, because once we find Kamo's mother, there's no way we will be able to hide anything going forward. Things will blow up after that. But we have to. I have to. Chances of finding out who I am are far slimmer than finding her mother. You have the address? I ask him. I do. It was in the newspapers when she went missing. I've had it since that day you told me the whole story about her. He's been working hard. So you once had best friends? Why is he side-eyeing me? Of course I had friends growing up. I still have friends. The last time I saw them was at my grandmother's funeral. But there's been occasional, just checking up on you, WhatsApp messages which I never respond to. You have people you meet at work, and the only reason you become close to them is either because you are the same age or nobody else likes them. No, that's not true. The tall one with the big forehead. What was her name? Nelly. She was my closest friend when we got back together, so he met her a few times. Yes, you had nothing in common. It's just that you were both juniors at your job, and she was a rural girl from KwaZulu-Natal, and you were the awkward girl. So now I'm awkward. I haven't seen or spoken to Nelly in years. We grew apart after I moved to my next job, so he might have a point. And the gay guy at your next job? The one you hung out with all the time. You were the only female in your department, and he was the only gay guy. That's the only reason you guys became friends. You needed each other. Lunga. He was an introvert, so he struggled to make friends. He and I connected immediately, and not because he had some issue with our male colleagues. We just clicked. We used to stay at his place or mine on Friday night and watch period piece movies if I wasn't with Mzolisi. He loved those weekend farmers markets, so I used to tag along. He loved books too and had tried to get me into reading, but I'm not that type. I read 3 books a year, maximum. You know he lives overseas, right? But he flew back for Sepati's funeral. He came all the way. That's a friend. We don't talk often though. I sent him an email after her passing and I didn't expect him to come all the way for the funeral. Oh shit. Now I'm feeling bad about not wanting Mzolisi at the funeral. I wanted to come too. I know, I'm sorry. The other 2 were my former neighbors and the girl whom I gave a lift every day because she didn't live far from me and her offices were 2 streets away from mine. My high school friends didn't show up. I didn't tell them about the passing. Now that I think about it, my adult life wasn't bad until now. I was okay. I experienced things and people, and most times I was happy and secure. I had the things people my age should have: a good job, a car, a nice apartment, and a home to go back to every Easter and Christmas, and whenever I wanted. I had a grandmother who called me every day with old people stories. I was fine. So, now that you don't have a job, are you going to pursue a DJ career? I asked teasingly. He shakes his head and laughs. His plans were always that: get a degree to please his parents, work for the company that gave him a bursary for a few years, and then quit so that he could pursue his passion of being a DJ. He graduated at 21 and went straight to a full-time job that had medical aid and all those other benefits. He never left that company, until now. You'll never stop teasing me about that, will you? Nope, never. And on top of that, he has no rhythm. This guy here has been the most consistent thing in my life. That's if he's not blocked. In 200 meters, your destination will be on the left, this GPS lady says. He puts his hand over mine. Relax, we've come this far, he says. We have, haven't we? It's a typical township house. We're a few steps away from the door and I want to turn back and run. So I take deep breaths, in and out. The door is opened before we even knock. I'll do all the talking, Mzolisi mouths to me. A woman appears at the door. My heart starts beating fast when I realize I'm staring at Kamu's mother, right in front of me. She asked for her mommy until she took her last breath. Hello, Sissy. Hello, she says, and opens the door further to let us in. She points us to the couch and tells us we can sit. Considering my experiences with people in the past 2 months, it's shocking how comfortable she is with letting strangers in who showed up at her door unannounced. She goes to the kitchen and comes back with a jug of water, ice in it. and 3 classes. It's the first day of December and it is hot as hell. She pours herself a glass first and tells us we can have the water. Oh, also, this is a thing. When you're at someone's house and they offer you something to drink, they must have the first drink. Apparently it's to show there's no poison in it. It's something I learned from my big forehead friend, as Mzolisi refers to her. She was from the deep rural areas where everyone still believes in witchcraft. I grab the glass and jug first. She's sitting on the couch across us silently, but her eyes tell us she's waiting for us to tell her why we're here. I'm Mzolisi. This is Charlotte. We have come to speak to you about something very important. Okay, she says with a nod. We're here about your daughter. She looks surprised. My daughter? I don't have a daughter. I have 2 boys and they're back home in Qwaqwa with my mother. Mzolisi and I look at each other briefly. This is the right address. There's no way he could have gotten it wrong. He's been right about everything so far. Is this not the Malachi house? Mzolisi. I was told not to speak. This can't be. I was so sure she was Kamu's mother unless she forgot about her and moved on to have other children. Yes, it belongs to the Malachis. How long have you been living here, Sissy? A year and a few months. I'm just renting this house. There was another tenant before and others before that. My neighbor told me it belonged to an old woman, and when she died, her children started fighting over it, so it can't be sold. None of them live here, though. I just sent the rent to one of them every month. This is a fucking brick wall, and I need another glass of water before I lose my mind. Who do you send the rent to? Mzolisi. I'm not sure if I should be giving people's names out to you. I don't even know who you are. I'm sure we can convince her, but Mzolisi gets right to it. We're looking for the woman whose daughter went missing years ago. We have some information about what happened to her. She widens her eyes and puts her hand over her mouth. The child who disappeared at the clinic. I worked at that clinic. One of my colleagues mentioned it 2 months ago when I hosted them here for my birthday braai. She said a girl who used to live in this house disappeared from the clinic 20 years ago or something like that and was never found. I didn't pay much attention to it. You know where she is, the child. Sigh. I want to say something, but I was instructed to be mute by this man. We need to find the mother. We need to talk to her, he says. Yo, people at the clinic are going to be shocked by this, she says and claps once. I want to ask her not to tell anyone about this, but Mzolisi looks at me and I close my mouth before the first word comes out. He knew I was going to blab. He knows me too well. We need to talk to her, Sisi. This is really important. Please help us. She really needs to come through for us because I will never forgive myself if I fail Kamu. Also, she can be a mean little ghost and she doesn't like people who break promises. I pay the rent to a woman. I heard from the neighbor that there are 2 of them, 1 boy and 1 girl. They are the ones fighting over this house, but I sent the money to her. I don't know if they split it or what. I've met her only twice since I started renting this house. She came here. Yes, first to meet me when I was moving in. The second time she was just passing through from somewhere, going back to her house in Carolina. She told me she hates this place and she'll never come back to live here. She didn't tell me why, but the colleague who told me the story about the little girl disappearing, the one I just told you about, she also told me that her mother, the child's grandmother, accused her of doing something to the child. The whole community started believing that maybe she did do something to the child and buried her somewhere. The police questioned her too. That's why she left. I don't understand why she's fighting her brother for this house if she doesn't want it. She was driving a car, so I'm sure she has a nicer house than this one. That must have been very tough on Kamu's mother. And this one here is too forward for a tenant. She has no reason to question why siblings are fighting over their mother's house. I'm sure when she gets to work tomorrow, our showing up will be a tea time conversation. Oh, and later someone started a rumor that it was her brother who did something to the child. He was questioned by the police too. I think that's why this family is so messed up. Why can't they just agree and sell the house? At this point, I think she just wants the house. Carolina, in Mpumalanga? Mzolisi asks. Yes, that's where she lives. I've been to Carolina. It's just over 2 hours away from Joburg. Driving from here means adding another hour to the trip. Can you help us with her phone numbers? She shrugs and says if it's about her missing daughter, then she'll definitely give us the numbers. She doesn't have a home address, but she tells us she's the manager at a big hardware store there. It's a small town with 1 street. If there's a hardware store there, there's only one. Kamu was the same age as me, so her mother must be in her late 40s or 50s, depending on whether she was a teenage or adult mother. Mzolisi thanks the woman and says we have to go. He's right. We have everything we need now. the phone number, the name, and we'll definitely have no problem finding the hardware store she works at. I have to say something. Zolisi is going to have to forgive me. Can I ask for a small favor, Sissy? She nods. Can you not talk about this to anyone until we've spoken to the girl's mother? It would be sad if she found out there are people with information about her missing daughter from other people. You have children. I'm sure you understand. Please, especially not your colleagues at the clinic. She smiles and says she loves my earrings. Random? Don't worry, I'm on sick leave. I'll only be back at work in 2 days. She doesn't look sick at all. In fact, there are beads laying all over the table. I think she just needed a few days to focus on her side hustle. These would look so good on you. It's earrings. She's just pulled them from some box under the table. I buy 3. They aren't bad, but I'll probably never wear them. I respect her hustling, even though it feels like some kind of payment to keep her mouth shut. We should have come here early in the morning, because then we would have enough time for the 3-hour drive to Carolina, and we would have found the hardware store still open. We leave, and she's standing at the door waving us goodbye. We have to leave for Carolina very early in the morning, I say. He shakes his head. We're driving there now. I don't trust her. She's just swindled you into buying 3 sets of earrings. And did you see how much she likes to gossip? She had no reason to tell us all that stuff about the brother and the whole family business. By tonight, this whole neighborhood will know we were here. She's probably briefing her neighbor as we speak. We left her house like 10 minutes ago. And yes, she did swindle me into buying earrings. And she did talk too much about things that have nothing to do with her. I thought this was going to be an in and out trip, so I didn't bring any clothes or a toothbrush or... Find us a place to sleep tonight. Alrighty. Only 3 guest houses and some ridiculously expensive self-catering place are what pops up. I book one that is 10 minutes away from town. It's also the cheapest. We'll be at her workplace first thing in the morning. Most hardware stores open before 8 a.m., I say. I don't know if he's even listening to me because I get no reaction. On the way, we stop somewhere in Woodbank, in an alley between some dingy flats where 2 men are waiting for him. He tells me to stay in the car and make sure all the doors are locked. If someone comes near the car, press the hooter and don't stop until I appear. I nod. But honestly, I'm confused because Mzolisi is not one for these types of places. He's from some rural village, yes, but he went to some posh white boarding school that is famous for rugby and producing exceptional students. Of course, his family couldn't afford the school, but he was smart, so he was an asset to the school, and that meant free education for him. I wait. All the doors are locked, but I'm still scared. This is Woodbank. People here are wired differently. If Woodbank was a state in America, it would be Florida. He comes back 20 minutes later with a very manly aura, and if you know how scary that aura is. Chapter 27. We made it to Carolina at exactly 4:45 p.m. The hardware store closed at 5 p.m. He was unusually quiet throughout the drive, and I was silently begging God to not take me. Not today. He was driving his double pipe what like a crazy man, and I was just here on the passenger seat hoping we don't get stopped by the police and end up in jail, or worse, be the first case of December road fatalities. I tried to fall asleep, but my body wasn't having it. It wanted to see my death. Carolina is still the one-street town it was the last time I was here. There's a ShopRite, obviously, and other stores, but it wouldn't make sense if there wasn't a Chinese shop in the mix. That's just how things are in South African small towns. There's the Chinese in town and the Pakistanis or Bangladeshis running tuck shops in the township. I spot the petrol garage. The guest house is 5 minutes away from this engine garage. He doesn't say anything. Instead, he drives into the garage. I'm thinking that maybe he wants to fill up petrol, but no. He gets out of the car and goes to speak to the petrol attendants. I don't get out of the car. 5 minutes later, he's walking back to the car, his eyes fixed on his phone. He doesn't explain anything to me. He just drives. I see the sign with the name of our guest house, but he tells me we'll be back later. We have about an hour left of sunlight, and I don't want us to be still driving in a little town we know nothing about when it's dark. We've driven for about 8 minutes when the GPS woman says, in 300 meters, your destination will be on your left. Mzolisi, where are we going? He's been different since we left Woodbank. Very different. I don't know what it is exactly, but I can tell he's angry about something. We're going here, he says, parking in front of a house that looks like it was built 100 years ago. It looks proper outside. I can tell its original owners were well off in this town's standards. But of course, they had to leave when the time came. There are white residents of small town suburbs who abandoned their homes and businesses when Mandela was released from jail because they believed they were going to be hacked to death with machetes. None of that has happened. and it's been 33 years. Where are we? Please talk to me, Mzolisi. We're already out of the car and he's marching towards the door, me behind him trying to catch up. We're at Ntabiseng's house. You can speak this time if you want to. Ntabiseng's house? Those people at the garage told him where Kamo's mother lives. We didn't even call her to say we're coming. A teenage girl opens the door. She looks like Kamo and I can't stop staring at her, but her focus is on her phone. Mommy, there are people here, she says without looking up from her phone, and leaves us standing at the doorstep to go wherever she's going in this house. I think we should wait to be invited in, but Mzolisi walks right in, so I follow. The mother finds us already sitting on the sofa. She's wearing black jeans and a t-shirt with a build-it embroidery on it. Oh, so that's where she works. Can I help you? She asks. She's definitely Kamo's mother. She looks exactly like her and the girl who opened the door. I'm not freaked out and I don't want to run out of here. And this is confusing me because this has been the one moment I feared the most. Hi, Ntabiseng. I'm Zolisi and this is Charlotte. We got your details from the tenant in Sasolburg. We're here to talk to you about something very important. She sits, but she doesn't offer us anything. Not water. Nothing. She has this feisty woman energy that I cannot describe. Like, she doesn't take shit from anyone. It's the same energy Kamo had as a 4-year-old. That man never brought her back in the room without scratches and bite marks on him. Something important? I don't understand. I've never met you. Are you from around here? She even has Kamo's frown. No, we are from different places, but we're based in Joburg. We're here to talk about... We hear a car outside. Wait, that's my husband driving in. Can we wait for him to come in? She rushes to the door and waits for him to park the car and reach the door. I wonder if her husband knows about her first child, or if she came to this town, found a man, and started over without bringing her past trauma into it. Whose car is that parked at the gate? A man's voice asks. I don't understand why, but my stomach turns. Mahojwa, there are people here. They say they have something important to talk to us about. I'm not feeling good right now. Something is not right, and I'm not sure what it is. People? What people, Ntabi? The next thing, he's standing in front of us. Him. Older, fatter, grayer, but it's him. I'm nauseous, dizzy, and there's a strong smell. I don't know what it is, but I know I've smelt it before. I look up at him and our eyes meet. I know he sees me. I know he knows. He turns to his wife. I don't know these people. Why are they here? Do you know them, Tabi? He asks. I lean on Mzolisi's shoulder and whisper. It's him. He didn't die. I'm conscious, but I could very well be dead because this can't be happening. Mzolisi pulls me and lays my head on his thighs. I don't feel like crying. I feel like dying. We're here about Kamo, Mzolisi says. He gets straight to the point every time. I can hear everything, but I can't move. I remember everything this man did to me. It's all coming back, fast and aggressively. Kamo, my daughter, the woman asks. We need to get out of here. This man will kill us if we don't leave now. I know what he's capable of. Yes, your daughter, Kamohelo. Mzolisi must stop talking, now. We need to get out of here. I'm still on the sofa with my head on his thighs, fighting very hard to stop everything that is flooding into my mind. The voice, the smell, the footsteps, the bathtub, his hands on my little body, the darkness of that room. Sissy being beaten up, the box with food, the steel bucket piled with our shit and urine, the dark passage, the stairs, all of it. I scream. I scream very loud. Daddy, what's happening? Go back to your room, now, he shouts at his daughter. That makes it worse for me. He used to shout this loud at Sissy for not teaching Kamo to behave. I think the girl ran back to her room. I didn't look up when he shouted at her, but I think she did because she hasn't spoken again. Mdlalose, they hear about Kamo. She could be alive. I know what she called him when he came in. Mahochwa. It's a Mdlalose clan name. I googled the surname when I found out it was Seipati's surname. How many times have we dealt with this in Tabi? Fake sangomas, people calling with lies. It's been 23 years. We let her go. We healed. It is at that moment that Mzolisi drags me by my head off his thighs and stands up. He has a gun. A whole gun. Where did he get a gun? He's pointing it at the man. Does he even know how to use a gun? Ntabiseng, I need you to listen to me, and I need you to listen carefully. This man you are married to is not who you think he is. He's the one who took Kamo. He took her to his mother's house in Deer, and he locked her there with 2 other girls, including this one. I know he's pointing at me, but I don't look up, because the thought of this man and the pain he caused me is paralyzing. Kamu fought every time he raped her, so he snapped and beat her so hard that she died a few days later. No. Yes, Ntabi saying. He abducted and killed your daughter and then he married you. She turns to look at her husband. Duelo? He's lying. I'm the one that looked for Kamu with you even after your mother accused you of doing something to her. It was your brother. We know that. The police just couldn't prove it. These people were sent here by him. He wants the house. Just give it to him so he can leave us alone. How can one person carry so much evil in his soul? Mzolisi still has the gun pointed at him, and you know what? I want him to shoot him, but not in the head or the heart. I want Mzolisi to shoot him on the leg and both his arms and on his butt. And then I want us to sit here and watch him bleed to death for hours, if that's how long it takes. My brother sent you here, Ntabiseng asks. Sigh. I rise from the couch like lightning, because if there's one thing I will not do, is let this man continue winning. Charlie, sit down. I'm handling this, Mzolisi says. No. He has a gun pointed at the demon, but it means nothing if the woman next to him doesn't believe us. Ntabi, my name is Charlotte. I was raised by Seipati, your husband's mother. It was me, an older girl, and Kamo. Kamo and I were the same age. He locked us in the basement and raped us. Kamo told us you were at the clinic the last time she saw you. He took her on that day at the clinic. She went with him because she trusted him, because he was your boyfriend. She called him Malume Tuelo. He drove her all the way to Didier and locked her in the basement with us. But she fought him, so he beat her to death. She was wearing a yellow dress the last time you saw her, right? She nods. But that was all over the news. Everyone who knows about her disappearance knows she was wearing a yellow dress, she says. She's frustrating the shit out of me. Her teacher was Miss Sindane. She talked about her a lot when we were locked up in that room. Miss Sindane liked her drawings, and she told me that every time she excelled in class, Miss Sindane would say, "Good girl," to her. Kamo said the same thing, "Good girl," to me when she was teaching me how to write and draw. I didn't know how to do any of those things. I had never been to school. I didn't even know what school was until I met her. Mzolisi still has the gun pointed at Duelo, which is great, which means I can keep talking. She drew this on this paper, and when she was done, we pasted it together on the wall. She made me believe it was a window, that we were looking outside. I hand her the paper. She looks at it, longer than I expected. This looks like the Molife house. It's the house behind ours in Sasselberg. I forbade Kamu from going there because there were too many kids, and they looked like they didn't bathe. The social workers eventually came and took most of them because they didn't even go to school. So Kamu wasn't imagining the house across. It was a memory of where she came from. She looks at her husband. Duelo. She must really love and trust him. He's about to start lying again when we hear police sirens, and that's when Duelo starts to look like he's losing his mind. Daddy, I called the police. I told them there's a man here with a gun threatening to shoot us. He turns and slaps his daughter so hard that she lands on the floor. Now this is the man I know. The police are here on the yard. The door opens and they barge in with guns pointed. They order all of us to get on the floor, but they are more focused on Mzolisi. They manage to disarm him and kick him to the floor. We are the ones they are going to arrest here. That I know. We are the ones who came here with a gun. Mdlalose, are you all safe? Did these people harm your family? Great. He's friends with the cops. Soon it's just me and Mzolisi lying on the floor on our stomachs. We are the ones about to be handcuffed and taken to jail. But as I lay on the floor, I see something far down the passage. It's a vintage wood kist, a large one. It's placed at a corner. Something about it is not sitting right with me. We are being handcuffed. That kist, move it and check what's under it. I shout as the policeman locks the handcuffs around my wrists and pulls me up. Please, look under it, please. I'm screaming. I know they think I'm crazy. No, you're not allowed to touch that kist. It has my grandfather's books and clothes in it. Nobody in this house is allowed to touch it. I'm not sure about this child's state of mind. Her father slapped her to the ground minutes ago, and here she is talking about, "Get these criminals out of my house. Now," Dumelo shouts. No, they have to. If they leave without us checking, his wife and daughter will be dead by the morning. He will kill them and disappear. Check what is under that kist. I'm not leaving this house until you do. Now I'm really acting crazy. I will scream and shout and kick and bite until they listen. There is no female cop amongst them, and that's a problem because the law says a female suspect must be handled by a female cop. If they get aggressive with me and I get hurt, they're in shit, especially because I'm not armed. That is why one of them, and I think he's doing it because he's annoyed by my shouting, goes to the kist and tries to push it aside. He struggles a bit. It must be heavy, but he's a big man. He looks down at the floor, his hands on his waist. Why is there a keyhole here? Mdlalose, is this a door? He asks. What keyhole? What door? Ntabiseng asks. She's standing there, hugging her daughter. Now everyone is going to where the kist is. Open it, I shout. We all look around and Duelo is gone. Nowhere to be seen. He was here just now. Nobody has the keys. Duelo is gone.